Black Talk. We are back for the spring semester and we are so excited to be here. Just in case you guys forgot, we are a program that gives minorities on campus a voice, and we also give advice on how to navigate a predominantly white institution. My name is Alana Washington, also known as Alana Lovely, and I am one of your lovely co-hosts.
My name is Gabriel Bright. I am a freshman studying political science with a minor in business and economics, and I am a permanent host.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Josh Wakes, also known as Josh from the Five. I am a senior, graduating senior, studying communication studies with a minor in business.
Hey, I'm Maka. You can follow me on all my social media accounts at Campaign Maka. And I am a senior here, and I'm studying communications.
I am Jackie. I'm a freshman. My major is it was pre-nursing, and now I'm undecided. So, yeah.
It'd be like that.
It really
Oh, I'm from Shawnee.
We're all from Kansas.
Yeah, we're all from
That is
Kansas.
so beautiful.
Wyandotte.
Okay. The name of this episode is called Unapologetically Black, and I think that that's beautiful. So first we're going to go into some cultural news, and this is sad. This is a sad note. We're going to start on the sad and then go up. So we're going to talk about Kobe Bryant. Would anyone like to go first?
Kobe was a legend, like one of the best to ever do it. 5 rings, all type of all-star selections. He left a great impact on the basketball world, and even people who didn't even play basketball weren't really related to basketball. But you knew, like, there were people who weren't really interested in basketball. You know, they knew Kobe just because of who he was and what type of legacy he left behind him. Everything that happened to him was really, unfortunate and very sad. But the legacy he left would never go away, and that's going to impact lives going forward for the rest of anyone's life, I believe.
I definitely agree with that. I'm not a big basketball fan, but I knew who Kobe Bryant was, and just he was my brother's favorite basketball player, and just to like see how much he impacted his life and how much he looked up to him, and just how much his death affected the world because it happened so suddenly, and also the fact that his daughter passed too, like I think that just made it so much impactful because you saw how life can just be taken away from you that quickly. So I think that was like but that was just even a further impact of the loss of him.
Right.
Yeah, Kobe definitely had a huge impact on me. As a person, just like not even like as far as in basketball, just every day, trying to attack every day and just go at it with the right mentality, and that, I don't know, everything in life is a mental thing, and I think that's what Kobe taught us, especially the way he approached basketball, with the Mamba mentality. That's just how I try and approach life, and just try and execute, strategically plan out things.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things about Kobe was how he was proud to be a girl dad. Because I've always wanted daughters. I want sons, but I also really want girls. I don't know why, but I really want girls. And the way that he's cultivated his girls and his wife, despite some of their issues, is something that really resonates with me. I was really, really sad when I heard the news. I pray for their family every single day because that's got to be tough, especially on the little girls. But to see the impact that he had brings me joy. His life wasn't in vain. He wasn't doing drugs and running around doing crazy stuff. He had a purpose. And, life is short even if you're a multimillionaire with an experienced pilot. So.
Right.
He definitely changed many people's lives for sure. Me personally, I knew Kobe Bryant, but I just wasn't really invested in what his work was and what he did for people. But I know that him being a girl dad, he definitely changed so many people's lives and encouraged men to be open to wanting girls, and because I know a lot of boys want boys to raise men, all that, and it's just interesting seeing how he changed himself for the betterment of his girls.
So how do y'all feel about, after he passed and then all of these public figures were coming out and talking about rape charges and they got attacked for it? Do you guys feel that they deserve that?
I think it was well deserved.
I think it was well deserved.
It was before he was buried.
I
You
think-
could have waited.
I think, and I think the fact that they did it so quickly was very disrespectful.
Yeah.
There was no reason to air it, and then when you get attacked, you want to like play the victim, which I feel isn't fair. Because now I'm not saying I don't even know too much about the allegations, but what I'm saying is I feel like they only do that to black men, so I'm not gonna stand for that ever, because they don't do it to anyone else. So whatever he did, in my opinion, if y'all not gonna do that to everybody and pull out their track record, don't do it to black men.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about it with Gail King,
Gail.
I think, Gail King, like she's really close friends with an accused and also convicted rapist, I believe. I can't remember the guy's name.
Harvey Weinstein?
Yes,
Mhm.
Harvey Weinstein, or however you say it. Yeah, he had all these. He was actually convicted of rape or an assault and stuff like that, and she was like so open and so quick to like kind of get on Kobe about what he did and what his legacy was, even though he wasn't actually convicted for that. All the charges were dropped. He was never convicted, never spent any jail time on the matter. So I feel like after that, at that point, was when people should let it go. Like, I mean, people can have their opinions about the situation, but that's like you're innocent until you're proven guilty. And he was never proven guilty of anything. So at that point, we should just let it go. It shouldn't be hindering this, especially right after he died too, and it's in a horrific way too. So that's just made it all worse.
Okay, well, I think we're just cultural news is all about basketball players today. We're gonna talk about Dwayne Wade and his daughter, Zaya. I believe that's how you Zaya.
I think that's what they pronounce it.
Okay, Zaya. How do you guys feel about that? That's been a topic in the news for a while. It's controversial because she is 12 and she's making the decision that she wants to be a transgender, and a lot of people have been speaking about it. Who was it? Boosie recently.
Yeah.
He was like, I mean, like the way he said it could have been better.
It sounded really
It cracked me up. I listened to it today.
Like he was like, he's only 12.
Yeah,
he
don't cut
can't.
his.
Don't cut his
Don't
private area off. He's not able to think that far ahead yet. Me personally, I don't judge anybody by how they parent. If that's what they want to do, that's their decision, and I feel like you can't judge them by that. I'm not saying I would personally like do it, but I'm saying I don't judge people for how they parent, and I feel like you can't tell somebody how to parent. That's how I feel about the situation.
I feel like my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. So,
Yeah,
so
facts.
like that's cool. However he wants to raise his child, but I applaud him for that. Besides that, like even though I'm not involved in his family's life, but I feel like him being like strong enough to accept his child for their decision to want to be a different gender or to identify as a different gender is really strong. Because I know a lot of men. I'll be lying if I sat here and said I would like feel some type of way about my son coming out like that. But being able to accept it, and I feel like that's the most important part of being a parent, and like being able to support them through this type of this part of their life that they're going through. It's even at a young age, at 12, like they say, even he is really young. That is like really young to make that decision, but for him to actually know that at 12 years old is also really good too, I think. So.
Yeah, being aware of yourself and knowing who you are is important. I think it's okay to want to get whatever it is that you want, even at that age. I actually watched a video today of someone revealing themselves, and it honestly made me happy because, for one, they're happy with what they are doing with themselves, and I just think that's cool.
I, for one, I disagree with it, but I'd like to preface it by saying I respect Dwayne Wade's ability to check himself and be like, how am I going to respond to this? And he handled it, I think, in a really, really nice way. However, I disagree with the accepting your child as wanting to be another gender. I think that it's, without being disrespectful to the child and to the family, I think that it's wrong. As a parent, you're supposed to lead your child, not let your child necessarily lead themselves. You can say you can't criticize other people's parents, but if someone chooses to punish their kid by not feeding them for 3 days, aren't you going to say something? You can say something. Now, I guess I guess you're not in their life, so you can't control it. You can have your opinion on it, but I think that turning a blind eye because you're not in that family, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with any of that transgender movement. That's not. We can talk about that if we want, but that's not something I agree with. But I disagree with all of that. But I respect his ability to check himself and his reaction to it. But that's just my take.
I feel like everyone should be able to say their opinions, but I feel like you shouldn't attack people. I think that's what the problem was. I don't have nothing wrong with somebody saying, you know, I don't agree with it, because I don't think it's fair that when someone says they don't agree with it, they get shot and killed in like with words. Like, it's like you are this, you are a homophobe, you are blah blah blah. Just like they can come out and say, well, I believe in this, someone should be able to say what they believe in as well. So that's how I feel. That's why I play the middle ground now. I would lead my child in a different way. But if they were straying away from me, what can you do? You can't do much, and I would accept my child for anything that they want to be, but I would not lead them that way. That's how I feel about the topic. But I believe that both sides shouldn't be attacked either way.
And just to clarify my point, I like what you said, but I wouldn't accept my child for anything, but I would still love my kid. I know a lot of people, they like disown their kid or something like that. I can't do that, but I'm still love my child. That doesn't mean I'm gonna accept everything that they do, and I'm still gonna have different opinions and different ways I'm gonna raise my kid. But I'm not gonna just accept anything just because it's new and it's 2020 or whatever current year it is. But I will still love that kid.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. But no, I agree with what he said. Like, as a parent, like, I really agree with what you said. Like, as far as like, I love my child, but I'm not just gonna accept everything you know that she comes home with. But I will say that I do have family members that identify as non-binary. Like, I have a little cousin who was born a boy, but he won prom queen. You know, so it's like that really hits like real close, like, to home. So it's like, at first, like, I felt like you did, like, before, like, I realized, like, wow, like, my little cousin's like this, like, and he's been like this, like, his whole life. Like, I remember when I was 10 years old, and he was, like, maybe, like, 6 years old, I knew it. I was like, oh, yeah, he's different. Like, he's playing with Barbie dolls, you feel me? Like, he's not into the same stuff I am. He talks a little quieter, he's a little softer. Like, I could tell about him at a young age. So I don't know, as he got older and as I started to see it kind of develop in front of me, and it was somebody that I know and somebody that I love, and this is how they feel about the world, then I started to kind of take their side. And also another thing, here at KU, we have a class, Women Gender Studies 327. I took it. It's an LGBTQ class. So it talks about a lot about like the history and like the stuff that they had to go through, like as transgender people, as gay people, and like once you look into that stuff and you learn a little bit more about it, it kind of gives you a different appreciation for it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you guys saying. I say accept just as when I say accept, I mean I understand. I want to understand you because I love you. So I feel like in order to understand somebody, you have to accept them for how they are. So like that's what I meant by that. Now I'm still not going to agree with it, but I'm going to accept you because I love you as a person. I don't care about what you're doing. Like that, I mean I care, but I can't control you.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. If that's what makes you happy, who am I to tell you what you need to do? Now I might pray about it at home by myself. Like I might pray about it and do it, like think differently and want differently for you, but at the end of the day I'm gonna support you and accept you. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. But now we're gonna get into the topic of the month, which is Black love, which I think is beautiful. What do you guys think Black love looks like?
It looks like motivating each other, you know, staying together through thick and thin, helping each other and pushing each other to be better, to always be better, and having each other's back unconditionally. That's a big thing about like Black love, because like the world don't got your back, so especially like your partner should have your back more than anybody.
I personally think Black love is very important because when you think about the past traumas that we went through, and to still be able to love each other, after they literally tried to like separate all of us apart, put man against women, women against men, all that, the fact that we are still capable of loving each other is literally amazing to me. Because it's, when you think about it, it's really hard for a man to, like, for example, like it was hard for men to feel like they, you know, had like a role in the relationship, because in the past a slave owner could come into your house and literally take your wife, like take her, she's gone and she's not yours anymore. So like that type of trauma passes down. So I feel like personally, and I don't have anything against like, you know, mixed interracial relationships, but me personally, I've always wanted to love a black man, just because in my house I had 2 black parents, and I saw how beautiful black love can be. I saw how beautiful like marrying a black man can be, building a black man, and a black man building his woman and treating her like a queen. I saw how beautiful that is, and that's something that I've always wanted. And I want to raise brown children. I want to raise black children. I want to raise black children with hair as thick as mine, and I want to tell them that they're beautiful. And yeah, that's how I feel about that.
For me personally, black love's about supporting and uplifting your own people. You know, like when you look back in history, how we've done that despite all the things we've been through. You look at the bus boycott, how people who had cars supported people who didn't have cars. Then you look at like in the slave days, people who learned how to read, which would teach other people like how to read, and it's like that support system is what resonates with me. It's not just about the, I guess, relationship from, you know, as you were sort of talking, like person or husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. It's about as a people supporting each other, not killing each other, is a prime factor of black love. So that's sort of my thing.
I think another thing with black love is just loving your skin, loving your hair, loving everything about you, and not putting anybody down for what they look like as well. I'm trying to think of something else to say.
Yeah, like kind of piggybacking off what you said, like self-love, self-black love is also important as well. I grew up with 2 black parents in the household, so like that was like seeing that, it kind of molded me into knowing what I want. I want to marry a black woman, and I want to, you know, really care for a black woman, cater to a black woman, and I want the same thing, you know, done back to me, you know, vice versa, how love is supposed to go. So that's just, black love, I just feel like it's super important, because nowadays it's like we're kind of straying away from it. I feel like our culture is straying away from it. And so like for you know, seeing my parents do it, so as far as being both black people, black individuals coming together and uniting, having a family, you know, it's so important in this way, in our community, in our culture. So
Do you guys think that you can be pro-black in an interracial relationship?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, most definitely.
I think you
Let's
can.
discuss.
I think you can.
Everybody
Go
goes.
ahead. He's about ready to blurt it out.
I'm just over here smiling because it's just crazy. Like, wow. Like, I'm trying to be politically correct, and as politically correctly possible as saying this is like, no, I just don't think it's possible. Just having people that are close to me that consider themselves pro-black with the mother of their child is a white woman, you know, and seeing the type of things that they go through. Y'all don't understand. I'm seeing it firsthand, you know. I don't want to put their business out too much, but, you know, it's not even just dealing with your spouse. It's like their parents. Mm-hmm. You know, you're dealing with their uncles, their aunties. You think he hasn't been called the N-word before to his face? You know, right there to his face, you know, his child. They're not even knowing that they're raising a child who's a black boy, you know, who's going to have to grow up and go through these same injustices as his daddy. You know, he has exactly hair like us, you know, all that. He's a black boy. So that's why I say, like, I don't know. I mean, if you're, like, I don't know, look at Barack and Michelle. That's what I always think of. Like, as black love and still being, like, a positive black man and, you know, kind of like, what do you want to call it, like, you know, kind of squarish, I guess you can say, but still having a black woman. You know,
That's sad that we gotta call it squarish though. Like,
I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I didn't want to call him like a Poindexter, or I really want to say like Carlton.
Carlton.
Carl.
I personally believe pro-black doesn't mean anti-white, but I do definitely agree with everything you just said, because I don't know. I just don't see how that. I just feel like that is so hard to enforce when the person that you with is really never going to understand.
Never.
They're never going to understand.
No
And so it's going to be so hard for your child because they're seeing two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be hard for them to understand who they are. And in this society, if you black, you black. Like, you're black to everybody. And they have to embody that. They have to know that they're black. And it's hard for children who have, like, who are mixed they feel like they got to pick a side. So I personally wouldn't want to put my child through that. I would want them to see black. Like, your mother is black and your father is black. And when you, like, your mother, you think your mother is the most beautiful thing in the world, I feel. And, like, I want my son to think the most beautiful thing in the world is a black woman. I want my daughter to think the most beautiful man in the world is a black man. So that's how I feel about that. But I know y'all felt differently, so.
I agree.
I mean,
You
can go.
You good. All right, I'll go then. I agree with everything you guys have said, but the reason why I don't like to attribute black love with just like relationships and more of this societal aspect is you look at people like, he runs the African Diaspora channel, what is his name? The Advice Show. He's super pro-black. He's in an interracial relationship, but his whole media is about empowering black people, lifting up black people, advising black people on how to live your life, and he's extremely pro-black. However, I do know, like, you see a lot in corporate America, like you see attorneys, everything they get with the white girl, and they sort of like to move on to that side, you know, to where they now, you know, around them, so they feel like they've made it and they don't want to be around black people and associate with black people. But I would personally say no, simply because I just don't attribute it just to relationships. It can be, but I attribute it to how you treat your people as a whole, not just your family.
I'm not trying to, like, disagree with y'all at all, but I do think that there's a line between, like, where you can teach somebody of a different race who's not black, and you can kind of, I don't know, just teach them. And basically, so my brother, for instance, he's with someone who's white, and eventually they're going to have kids and raise them to learn to love their hair and all of that. So I think it's just different in my eyes because of that. I don't want to necessarily cut myself off and just be like, okay, black is all that I want to have, you know? So yeah, that's basically where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I just don't think being pro-black is anti-white, kind of just like Alana said. Like, you like what you like at the end of the day. But I don't think, like, you like even what Gabriel was saying, like, he knows people that, you know, are really, you know, activists for their community, their culture, really are for their culture. And I don't think just because someone they're with is, like, you know, can be white doesn't mean that they're against the black culture either. So, like, you know, maybe they're, you know, activists even for the black culture themselves. You know, it makes them want to be pro-black or so pro-black, you know. And I just think that it's possible just to, you know, coexist with, you know, a white person and a black person who really is for their culture and really pro-black. So that's just how I feel about it. But
I agree with all sides.
So do I.
Okay, so.
I just think, are we done with this?
No,
I'm like,
keep going.
Yeah,
it's all you need.
because I was just saying, I just think, I don't know, if we look at all of our black leaders, taking a few, I'm talking about the real black leaders, like, not like the basketball players, you know, like, they're all with black women, you know. It takes a strong black queen, you know, to raise a black queen, or to stay with the black king and to raise another one, you know, as well. Like, we can go back to, like, Coretta Scott King, you know, Betty, Malcolm X's wife, LeBron and his wife, like I said, Barack and Michelle. Barack, though, his mom is white, so I wanted to kind of point that out, too. I forgot to say that, like, so Barack, you know, he's a mixed child, and he was raised by a white woman, so he didn't really know his father like that. So I point that out. So you can, you know, I guess in a sense to point that out, I guess you can have, like, white women or even white men who can raise, you know, black productive citizens of society. just like Barack Obama was raised by a white woman, like I just said. So
Yeah.
I guess, you know, I mean, I can see both sides of it.
Yeah.
But just from my personal experience and what I've witnessed firsthand and like just getting deeper into it than just the surface, you know, and just kind of considering all aspects of it, it isn't something that I would advise per se. I wouldn't be like, hey, that's something you should go do. But if it's something like, you know, you fall into it and it's like, all right, we can rock with it, you know, you can work it out.
I definitely agree.
Facts.
I'm not against interracial relationships at all. I feel like everyone should feel like everyone can do what they want to do. That's what that's the type of person I am. Me personally, I would like to understand more, because me personally, I feel like if you are so pro-black, if you think black is so beautiful, if you think your women is so beautiful, how could you ever? Like, if you think that, if you truly feel that way, wow, how? I don't see, like, if you think we're so valuable, why you would choose a white woman.
So, like, I hate to be hogging this, but, like, so, like, I grew up, like, with my cousins, and they're, like, from Leavenworth, and there's, like, a lot of white girls down there, so, like, I think the reason I was getting, like, so defensive on this topic is because, like, I grew up, like, defending myself. Like, they'd be like, oh, you messing with black girls, like, they dirty, like, oh, you from Wyandotte, like, all these girls down here is dirty, like, like, you should start messing with these white girls, like, so they would be on that, and they're still on that to this day, and it was like, I don't know, I didn't get what all the hype was about, for real.
Yeah, I don't see the hype in dating white women, honestly. I love white women, not like to.
I love all
I
women.
would just wouldn't date y'all. Like, I love everybody. I just wouldn't date y'all. Ain't nothing personal.
Nothing personal. Okay.
Whatever you do, don't put your own race down. Date whoever you want. Just don't say anything bad about your race.
Facts.
Yes,
I feel like
facts.
a lot of people do that too. Like, they'll date, they interracially date, so they're dating all these other different ethnicities and they're putting down their own.
Yes.
You know, like, I feel like that's really key. I know Alana is so against that. She would literally fight anybody that would stand up and say, "Oh, putting black women down." She's not with none of that. So, like.
But I will say black women do it too. Not a lot. But I've seen black women be like, I'm going to get me a white man because he going to take care of me. He ain't going to do this and he ain't going to be selling drugs and da-da-da. That's ignorant. It's very ignorant. It's from both standpoints. So,
I feel you.
So how do you guys think black love affects our community? Like, in a positive and if there is a negative way, how do you guys think it affects the community? I personally feel like I feel like there is a need for black love and setting examples of how to love each other. Like Gabriel said, not even just relationship wise. The only reason I keep saying relationships is because it's in February and it's all about love. So that's why I'm making it be about relationships. But even if we are taking it from a relationship perspective, I would like for our children to see black couples, like to see that and see that it's normal and see that it's accepted, and I don't want it to like diminish and there is no more, like, so that's I feel like that it's very important to set examples. Yeah, are we done with that?
No, I mean,
Black love
I'm trying to think.
Black love is deeper than relationships. That was one thing you said that I kind of wanted to expand on. It's deeper than just like me loving my girlfriend or you know, a couple. It's like me loving my brother. You know, and me asking my friends as black men, how's your mental health doing? You know, because it's real deep, and it's deeper than, like I said, it's deeper than a relationship love. It's your love for your brother. It's your love for your friend and people in your community. You know, as black men, people always say this, but like, we don't ask each other about our mental health or nothing, how we're actually doing, you know.
Especially at a PWI.
Yeah.
I will say I agree with that, and I do feel like it's actually getting better within our generations, like millennials, Gen X, all that, like everything down, like talking about mental health and being expressive and like acknowledging how you feel, whether you're a man or a woman, is being way more accepted, and I'm very proud of that, because in the past it was not at all. You was soft or something, which is ignorant.
No, I was just saying, I was but yeah, like, since my bad. But to piggyback off that, like mental health is very important. Like, you know, in the black community, we kind of shied away from it, and I do like appreciate how it's kind of becoming more aware to, you know, people are becoming more, you know, taking care of their mental health more is basically what I want to say as part of that. Like, I really, you know, it's like he was saying, you know, it's really important though. Like for real, like a lot of people really do have a lot of stuff going on that they don't want to talk about, don't feel comfortable talking to other people about. You know, finally, you know, being able to open up is so important, and you know, especially in today's society, because social media will have you thinking so many different things about yourself. It really like social media. I feel like it's designed to attack your mental health. I don't know if anybody else would agree with that, but it can attack your mental health. Not maybe, but like I feel like you know how Black people have become more aware of that. I feel like that's really good. Take pride in that.
Do the youngins have anything to say? Y'all been quiet.
I would say.
I agree with everything you said. Yeah.
I agree with everything they said, but I think Black love is positive for the community because it shows that it gives people something they can aspire to, especially if you are doing something positive, but you're also showing your own people love. I feel like if you were doing something big, like maybe you were a basketball player and some little child saw you talking to another one of your kind negatively, I don't know how much you would want to aspire to be like that. So if you are loving your own people and you're doing good things, I think it gives people something to aspire to, something to want to support.
Definitely. Well, since it is Black History Month, we're going to give y'all a history lesson. I'll go first. I'm going to talk about Mary Kenner. I think that this is amazing. So she made something called the sanitary belt, and basically it was a maxi pad, which is just like amazing for women. And so since she was a Black woman, no company wanted to work with her. They rejected her idea, and they ended up I can't say that, patenting it 30 years later. So basically they took the credit from her. And it's crazy to me how innovative we are, like that she thought to make that, and that's something that affects women of all races and helps us. So I think that that's amazing. But she ended up going on, even after they stole her idea, she ended up making more household products. Like she made the bathroom tissue paper holder. She made like the compartment on for disabled people that like sit in a wheelchair to hold things. And it was something, she made a back washer in the shower. So I think that that's amazing.
I'll go ahead and go next. So another person that I want to bring up for Black History Month is Huey P. Newton. He was a social activist, co-founder of the Black Panther Party, which is also known for its self-defense against the police brutality that was going on during that time period of the 60s. He was literally a high school graduate, so he couldn't really read or write that well. Newton taught himself how to read before attending Merritt College in Oakland and then San Francisco School of Law. So he went on to get a degree, actually became successful, kind of beat the odds that were against himself. While married, he met Sue in Oakland. In 1966, they formed a Black Panther Party group in response to incidents of alleged police brutality and racism, and as an illustration of the need for Black reliance.
So I have a really cool, I like this guy a lot. If you are a videographer or you want to go into movie making, I have a really great idea for a story. Nobody really knows about this guy, but his name is Robert Smalls, and he was this is the Wikipedia, but he was an American businessman, publisher, and politician, lived from 1839 to 1915. He was born into slavery, freed himself and his crew, and during the Civil War, he was able to actually commandeer a Confederate ship and sail it out of the Confederate-controlled waters into safety. And he was one of the reasons why Abraham Lincoln actually accepted African Americans as soldiers into the war during the Civil War. So that's a great idea. If you're into that type of stuff, look it up, see what you can do. It hasn't been made into a movie yet, so excuse me, but go right ahead, jump at it.
Mine was Michelle Obama. We've already talked about her a little bit, but she was the vice president not vice president, what am I saying? First lady. Sorry. The first lady with Obama, and she actually wrote a memoir, which I personally have read. It's really good. She kind of motivates you to do whatever it is that you want to do in your lifetime and to never give up. Also, she has implemented many health education programs in schoolings. She's just a really good role model, honestly. So.
Oh, it's me. Hey, my person that I chose is Quincy Jones. I'm not gonna go too deep in that, but Quincy Jones has 28 Grammy Award nominations. Has a 60-year musical career. He did almost all of Michael Jackson's work, so all of Michael Jackson's songs. We Are the World, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Basically, I mean, like the whole 20th century of black music, basically Quincy Jones was involved in from the beginning, from like the 1940s with Ray Charles, all the way up until even present day today, 2020. So, want to know more about Quincy Jones? Go watch the documentary on Netflix, Quincy.
That was amazing. I enjoyed our little history talk. So now we're going to go into some events that are happening on campus. Make sure you guys go out. We want you all to be getting involved. So the first one is the African and Caribbean Student Association. They are collaborating with the Zetas, and they are doing an Afrobeats dance class, and that will be held February 27th.
So on February 28th, we have the Zeta Game Show, and that seems actually pretty interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but if you have time and you have nothing to do, show up and show out.
The Zetas, wait, you already did the Zeta Game Show?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. So the African and Caribbean Student Association is also having a movie night on February 28th. The National Society of Black Engineers is having a dodgeball tournament on March 1st. The African and Caribbean Student Association is also having a general meeting on March 4th. Be sure to be there.
Yes. So Black Student Union is having a game night. It's gonna be after spring break, but the exact date has not been determined yet. So just be on the lookout for that. KU Senior Grad Fair is lit. That's gonna be March 18th through the 19th. And also remember, if you want to stay updated with any events, make sure you're following @theplug_KU because they post all of the flyers. So, does anyone want to do a student shout out to anyone on campus that you mess with and you want to give some recognition to?
I want to shout out Josh. I know he lit that fire. He wrote that fire article after the Chiefs win, and it was on the front page and everything.
Yes.
And he was sitting there with his article. I was like, "That's what's up, man! Big moves."
Yes.
Appreciate it.
How sweet, co-host love. I want to give a shout out to Faith Miller. She is graduating May 2020. She got all A's last semester while being pregnant, okay? My girl is due in March, okay? And she made straight A's.
That's what's up.
That's black excellence
That's
right
what's
there.
up, for real.
So I want to give a shout out to her. Any other shout outs?
No.
My shout out was to Josh. Josh is my bro. If y'all didn't know, Josh is my bro right here. So shout out to Josh because he got his hands in everything. Like I said, he wrote news articles, makes beats, co-hosts on this show. Tap in with Josh. Also does graphics, right? Am I missing anything? Plays video games, uploads videos. I'm telling you, my man Josh got his hands in a lot of stuff. So that's
And
what I
he
was
plays
going
in
to
a
shout out.
band. He plays the drums too.
Yeah, I do play the drums.
And he DJs. Oh my God. Come catch Josh DJ in the show. Because you know it's going down.
So I was not expecting y'all to do this. I appreciate the love though, for sure.
For sure.
Okay, well, we've come to an end. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys the next episode.
Hey, go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Go. Jair gonna kill you.